thought I'd do a small video on my antique books on Egypt, well, the leather bound ones. I've got some cloth bound books on Egypt, but say this video I'll do my leather bound just because they're the earliest in date, really. And yeah, I've collected books on Egypt since I was a child. I've always had the interest. So I'll start with my earliest one. I have done a video on this before, but I say interesting about a million times. So I thought I'd do another one, and yeah, hope it's of some interest. Now this book was produced. Sorry, moving the camera around. This book was produced in 1734, which is a very early date for Egyptology, and oh, that's my book toad. It's quite handy for books with delicate spines. And sorry. It was produced in 1734, and that's of note because most works on Egyptology were produced after Napoleon's invasion of Egypt in 1798. So you don't see many prints and drawings of Egyptian antiquities that predate Napoleon's invasion. This was written by Paul Chamberlain, but I believe it was copied heavily from an earlier work. Yeah, that's one of my favourite prints I've got, actually. That mummy case I've actually found in its current location, and it's in the British Museum in the Enlightenment Gallery. Now I believe it's was the first mummy case that the British Museum ever acquired, which I think is quite interesting. Actually had that made into a cushion. Bit odd, but I quite like it. Sorry, spinning the camera to show you a cushion. Get back to books now. Now this book has got several prints on. Sorry, trying to do this with a tablet and a ton of pages. This book has got several prints. Now the book is got many civilizations written topics in the book, but the illustrations are all Egyptian antiquities. These are nice canopic jars, although at the bottom of each page it says, it gives you a brief description of the antiquity and whom it was acquired by, or where its contemporary location is, which is interesting. And on these ones, on the description, it calls these curious urns, which is quite nice because obviously you know them as canopic jars, but obviously it was such a new science at the time. Now this mummy case is the same one as the first print you saw. It's just a side view. Say books of this date are quite rare. Give you a chance to see. Try not to move too fast so you've got a chance to see. I think that's... Sorry, trying to do it with a tablet. Now, this one, it's interesting. I've also managed to track this one down. This one's also currently in the British Museum. There's one more illustration with this book. So I believe it was copied from an earlier work, but I don't know if I've never seen the earlier work, and I don't know what the drawings and illustrations were like in that. So my main period of Egyptology that I'm interested in is the Napoleon's invasion of Egypt in 1798. Now, when Napoleon went to Egypt, as many of you know, he took with him scholars and scientists. and one of their tasks was to record the antiquities of Egypt. Now this is interesting because some of the temples and other monuments that were drawn and measured don't exist anymore. That print is actually of a temple that doesn't exist anymore. Now that was drawn by Vivant de Nan, a really interesting character, one of my heroes of the rediscovery of Egypt through European eyes anyway. Obviously he was French, and they're first editions of his travels in Upper and Lower Egypt. Now it's a 3-volume set. I've got the 3rd volume and I'll quickly show you. One of the illustrations I think is worth showing. So for a small book, the illustrations fold right out. Give you some idea of the size just by putting my hand down there. So I say the book's very small, but the illustrations fold out massively. That, I believe, is the a copy of the ceiling of Dendra, I believe. I don't think I've ever had them fully folded out before. I just unfolded that one so I could video it now, which I'm pleased I've done, because I've never done that myself. So De Nan was really one of my heroes, and I think to have a trio of his works from when he was alive, I'm really pleased with that. And this small book up here, Russell's, can't really make that out, but it's Nubia and Abyssinia, and that has some really nice prints of the pyramids in the Sudan, which is interesting. Can't really see that very well. And there's one more book to show on the sort of subject that I'm interested in. It was produced, I think it's around 1850, and it was produced by the British Museum. I believe there was 2 volumes, although I only have volume 2. But it's a very interesting book, and I won't open it fully because I've only got sort of one hand. But many of the prints in there are taken from the description of Egypt, which obviously was a masterpiece really of the work that the French scientists worked on when they come back from Egypt. Yeah, so I hope there's something of interest there for someone. I've enjoyed doing it. Thanks very much.